Hello. Today we are going to learn the basics. We're going to learn a chain, and we're gonna learn to read and do the stitches. CH stands for chain, which is also the foundation, which is your beginning. We're gonna learn this. I like to teach the reading and the visual part together. So when you get a pattern, you can actually read and understand what they're saying. So right now, for this first part, I'm going to show you how to do a SC, which is a single crochet. Okay, so SC, if you ever get a pattern, if you want to make something like this, and they're always going to have the instructions in there. So when you get a pattern, it's going to always have the abbreviation and all the instructions. So once you can read this, you can make something. This is very simple to make, and I may make this because I made this once. It's beautiful. So this is really simple, and it's got the instructions right here. Once you learn how to read, you can make anything on it. So right now we're going to learn to make the single crochet, which is the abbreviation is SC, and that stands for single crochet. Okay, so let's get started with that. The single crochet. I was doing something earlier. Okay, we always have to start off with the slip knot. Okay, and I'm going to make sure we see the slip knot. Remember, the slip knot is this is the tail of the snake. Woo! Don't let the snake get you. Okay, so we make the tail of the snake and we make a circle head out. We make the snake head. Bring the tail there for the snake head. Here's the snake head. We're going to take the head. Make sure it's a nice little tail for the snake. Make sure the head is kind of look nice and round. Okay, take that. Bring it over this line right here. Bring it over. And you're going to grab that when you bring, and you're going to take the snake tail and grab it. And there you have your slip knot. Okay. Now this tail is a little longer than what I usually like to work with, so I'm going to take it out. I like a shorter tail. Okay, and I just make the tail a little short, and I grab it, and there. Still kind of long, but not as long. Okay. First thing we're going to do is make our chain. Okay, which is SCH, a chain. And make sure, see how this loop is really big here? That's why it's called a slip knot. You can pull it where the hole is not so large, okay? And you want this part away from you. This is the part that you're going to be crocheting. So this is the tail. Remember, you want that away from you so you don't get confused and you start crocheting and you end up at the end of your stitch beforehand. Stick your hook in right here. I like to hold my, let's see, these three fingers. These are the three main fingers you're going to work with when you're crocheting. So I like to hold it like this, hold my hook like this. I have these fingers down, and I take this finger and I put the yarn like this. Okay, and I hold this, because you're going to need to hold this part of your yarn. So it's this finger and these two. These two fingers, your thumb and I think that's your pointer. I forgot what this finger is. Oh, that's the middle finger. Your thumb and your middle finger is going to hold that knot, okay? And you're always going to be holding your crochet. And you're going to take your hook and you're going to go, if you hold it like this, see you got a little space in there? So I always like to say, I go in, grab some yarn, pull it through, okay? And I got one stitch. We're going to do 20 chain. Again, I'm going to grab some yarn. And when you grab the yarn, it's like grab and turn it. And it's going to turn your hook this way. Turn your hook down. So you grab, turn your hook down. Okay? Grab some yarn. Turn your hook. Pull it through. Grab, turn, and pull it through. So it's kind of like a grab and turn. Grab a hook, pull it through. And you have to bring your finger up. If you keep it down here, you're not going to get that tension. So you bring your finger up. Grab and turn. Grab and turn. Okay? And you bring your finger up. You always just want to bring your finger right where that, so it's not all like this. So if your loop you can just pull it on through like that. Okay? So you're going to bring your finger up, grab and turn. And I just bring it up and just keep going. Grab and turn. And so we're going to do 20. Okay? I'm going to try to go slow. Grab and turn. Grab and turn. I haven't got 20 yet. I'm going to show you how to count. So I'm just eyeballing it right now. Then after a while, I'll stop and count because I only want to do 20 because we're going to make a square. We're just going to make a single crochet of squares. Okay, remember, you put yarn in. When you grab the yarn, see you're grabbing it like that, and you're going to turn your hook. You grab and turn, because that way it goes through that loop real nicely. Okay, so I'm grabbing and turning, grab and turn, grab and turn, and I'm bringing my finger up, grab and turn. Now there's several ways you can hold your yarn. You can put it around your middle finger like this and go like that. But whatever you do, you're going to need these two fingers to hold the yarn closest to your hook, because you've got to hold that. That gives you your tension so it's not all over the place. Okay, so you are going to have to do that. I'm going to pause the video for a second. Now, I said we're going to do 20 chains. So this is 20. And the way you count, you can crochet, and the way you count, I always take my hook out when I'm getting ready to count. And when you take your hook out, this time I am going to make a big loop like this so I don't lose my spot and it doesn't fall apart. So when you're counting, if you look real close, you can see it looks like little V's, and you just count each one. So I'm going to count my V's. It's look like a little V, so I just count. I'll count this way. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute, I lost count there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19. I want to do 20. So I'll just crochet another one, and that should give me 20. Okay? And you count. Now that's very important. Crocheting is a lot of counting. So you always want to count. And you stop and count. That way you don't lose your pattern. Because if it says crochet 14, you want to make sure you have 14 of the stitches. Okay, so if it says 14, you want to crochet 14. And like I said, they look like little V's. And you just count them. Just count your little V's. Okay. Now what we're going to do, the single crochet. What we did was just a chain, which is the foundation. We started. So we chain, because what did we chain? We changed 20 because what are we making? A square. So we chain 20, and now we are going to make a single crochet. Okay, all the way across. So that's what we're going to do right now. So we have our first row. I said 20, it should be 21, because when we go back, it's going to make it 20. Okay, so now we're ready to make the single crochet. Okay, and you have your, I like to call these V's, and what you're going to do, you're going to stick your hook in that first V at the top. Okay, and that's going to be a single crochet. So you're going to stick your hook in there like so, grab some yarn, pull it through, and you should have 2 in your hook. You have 2 in the hook, grab some more yarn, pull it through that, and you just made your first single crochet. So now you're at the next part. Now you may get confused here to say, oh, where did I put my next hook? You can always see a bigger hole there. That's not where you're going to put your next hook. It's going to be in the one that's not so large, because that's the chain you just made. So it's going to go in that next hook, in that next space. Okay, so you're going to put your hook in, grab some yarn, pull it through, 2 on the hook. Grab some yarn, pull it through both loops. Now you've just made a single crochet. So you're going to do that all the way to the end. So remember, after you make your chain, you're always going to see a larger hole. Don't stick your hook in that hole. You're going to stick it in the next space, okay, of that chain that you made from the very beginning. And once you get past this part, I always tell people, this is the hardest part, the first 2 rows. Once you get past the first 2 rows, everything becomes easier to see where to stick your hook once you get past them. And single crochet is always, you stick the hook in, grab some yarn. It's always going to be 2 yarns or 2 loops on your hook. Grab the yarn, pull it through. So you're going to stick yarn in, grab some yarn, pull it through, 2 loops. grab some yarn, 2 loops on hook, pull it through. I can feel a song. And remember, you're always going to probably get a song with me. You're going to stick the hook in and grab some yarn, 2 loops on the hook, pull it through. You're going to stick the loop in and grab some yarn, 2 loops on the hook, pull it through. We're going to stick the hook in, grab some yarn, 2 loops on the hook, pull it through. We're going to put 2 loops on the hook, pull it through. Okay, do it all the way to the end. Okay, now you should have 20 stitches. Now it gets really easy to see your stitches. You can see it looks like V's at the top right here. See that? Look at the V's. And you count them. If you were to count this, you will see you have 20. I like to call them V's. And these are single crochet stitches. You count them, and you can see you have 20 of them. So you should be able to count each one. Okay, and you have 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I count it. Now it gets easy. Now you're at the end. You made your last stitch. Okay, now you're going to go to your next row. Now remember this little tail here, that's the snake tail. So make sure you don't grab that. You're always grabbing this one. So now when you get to the end, you're always going to chain 1 because we're doing a single crochet, which is single means 1. So you chain 1, and then we like to call it chain and turn, because now you're going to turn your stitches back this way. Then make sure you don't get it confused and start crocheting at the bottom, because you should be able to see your stitches really easy now. They're right at the top there. And you should be able to see where to stick your hook in very easy now. You should be able to see where to stick your hook because you have the V and you have these holes. So you should be able to see where to stick your hook for each one. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to actually put my hook back in. Okay, make sure I put it in the right way. Make sure it's not twisted there. Okay, so I'm going to take my yarn. I chain 1 up, and I'm going to stick my hook in that first hole right there. Stick it in the hole, grab some yarn, pull it through. Again, 2 on the hook, pull yarn through. Okay, remember we're going to do in. Your hook when you're grabbing a yarn, it's kind of going like in, and you see how the bottom part is in and turn. In and turn. That's what you're doing to your hook. You're kind of turning your hook. So you're going in, bring it through, and you turn. I go in this way, turn it, pull it through. Grab some yarn, pull it through. Grab some yarn, pull it through. So that's basically what you're doing. And the way and it takes a while to figure out which way is best to hold your yarn to grab. So you get comfortable with it after a while. You'll find several ways to hold your yarn, whichever is like sometimes my finger, because I'm holding it like this, sometimes like that, my finger gets tired, so I hold it like this. Sometimes I get tired and I hold my finger up like that. Okay, but I'm always going to have this finger. Remember, my thumb and my middle finger, and don't use that middle finger for nothing else but holding your yarn. Watch what you do with that middle finger. This is a good thing to do with your middle finger. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to go in to the next. And you remember, there's 2 V's at top, so make sure you stick your hook in both of those stitches, the V. Don't just pull it in one. See, I'm gonna always be showing you what to do and not to do at the same time. Because these are mistakes I made when I first learned. And I taught myself how to crochet. So don't stick it there. You're sticking it in both. You're sticking in both of the top part of that. So you're sticking them in both. Okay? And you're going to grab the yarn, pull it through. Remember, we're doing a single crochet, so there's 2 on a hook. Pull it through. I pull it through though. So you can see the hole right there. You pull it through that hole. Grab some. Remember, I'm grabbing the yarn. Remember, I'm turning the hook. Pull it through, and it's up. And turn it around, pull it through. Remember, I'm going to go down in the hole, pull it through, up, and pull it through. In, and pull through. And it's always 2 in the loop. Remember, we're going to go grab the yarn, pull it through, 2 on hook, pull it through, grab some yarn, 2 on hook, pull it through, grab some yarn, pull it through, 2 on hook, pull it through, grab some yarn, pull it through, 2 on hook, pull it through, and you just keep doing it all the way to the end. All the way to, and this time it's going to stay in just so you can see all the way to the end. Okay, it's going to go all the way to the end. You just keep grabbing the yarn, go in, pull it through, go through. Oh, remember this can go through too. Pull it through. And I'm going to show you what I like to do at the end of each one, just to make sure. Remember, you're making a square, so you want to make sure it's nice. And if your square is off the first time, it's not going to matter. Don't worry about it because this is your first time crocheting. Don't worry. And I always pull my last hook through. I make a big loop because I want to count my V's. I like to count my V's, which is the same thing as saying my stitches. So I'm going to count each one to make sure I have 20 because that's what we should have. And we count each one. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. If I count 20, I know I've done this correctly. So, and you just keep doing this until this makes a square. Again, when you get to the end, okay, bring it, loop back in. You crochet 1 up, as my friend used to say to me. So we go crochet, which they'll tell you in the thing, they'll say chain 1, which is the same. They'll say chain 1 turn, which is crochet and you turn it just like that. And you go back to this. So you're going back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so you're going to always turn it and you crochet from your right to your left, right to your left. Okay, and we're just going to make this stitch again. Once you chain up, you're going to go in a hook, grab some yarn, to a hook, and pull it through. And you just keep this all the way until you've made a nice little square. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And we'll come right back and see what you got. So, you should have done a square. Here's my square, and this is all single crochet. And this is the square from single crochet. When you get down to you can crochet as big as you want your square to be, but this is all the yarn I had, so I'm just stopping at this point. When I stop, I still want to tie off so it doesn't come loose. So what I do, I'm going to chain up 1. I'm going to bring that loop all the way, yarn all the way through, and I'm going to pull it. That way it stays in place and it's locked. And that's the end of it. And this is a square, a single crochet square. Now what I would suggest, if you make a lot of squares, you can make them any color, size you want. Make squares, just make squares, make squares. These are double crochet. This is a double crochet. We're going to do the double crochet next. Just make a square. And out of a square, you'd be surprised what you can make. So just make a lot of squares. And when you make it, this is a double crochet. And then you can put your squares together and make a lot of different things with them. So that's it. And what you learned today is you learned to read. This is a chain. Chain. That's your foundation. That's where you begin. And you did a single crochet and you made a square. Okay. If you'd like any more information, just hit subscribe and like and send me an email. I'll send my email in below and I'll give some instructions because again, I like to have visual with words. Okay. That's it for right now. Bye bye. Hope you enjoyed it.